Okay, so this is video number 2 in a series, an ongoing series that we're going to be doing about flamenco technique as far as dance goes. So in the previous video we talked about footwork, and I want to stay on that plane for a little while and eventually go into upper body. As far as footwork goes, we talked a little bit about how you carry your weight, how sitting into the hip is a very important concept, how keeping proper body alignment, your spine nice and long, and everything stacked correctly is a big issue, and it's going to really kind of set the precedent for the rest of your footwork and whether or not it's a successful venture or not. So keep those things in mind, but what I want to do now is give you some practical hands-on exercise to be able to apply those things toward. So a very important thing in flamenco footwork is the supporting heel. Supporting heel means if I've got a lot of this kind of stuff going on, this is my leg that's doing some of the finer articulations, this is my anchor, and this heel is what's called my supporting heel. So for example, let's say I'm doing this particular 6-sound pattern. The anchor leg, the one that I'm putting my weight onto for most of that step, is the same leg that I'm using my supporting heel. Okay? So to build strength in the supporting heel, you can do some real simple exercises. When in doubt, just do the simplest thing. That very thing that you're trying to accomplish, work that very thing. So take the simple articulations and build from there. So what I want you to do is toe and then 3 heels, but very importantly, I want you to lift the other foot up. So you can see here from the side, I'm basically just pointing the foot and keeping it near here. Really, it's not about pointing the foot, but just to keep a clean picture for now, we're going to bring this up here. Now make sure you don't hike the hip up too high. You want to keep it there, and you want to keep most of your weight into this hip. Now if I overdo it and roll to the outside of my foot, see how it takes my upper body off on a diagonal. So I want to sit into my hip to the extent that my proper alignment allows. So if I'm nice and long and I'm standing on the inside of my foot, which is very important, meaning putting your weight right here on the inside of your shoe, on the inside of your big toe, if I'm there and I'm relaxed into this hip, that's what I mean by sitting into your hip. So don't exaggerate it or lean necessarily. So that's your starting point. You want to do 3 heels. At first, we're just working in 4s for right now. All the heels can be the same volume, so try to hit them hard. You want to go 1, and then switch. Now, one mistake you don't want to get into is to lift that foot too early. Wait till you're nice and stable after you get your first heel down and then lift the foot. So in other words, I'm not trying to get that foot up right away, because that's going to do is throw you off balance, especially if you haven't developed the muscles in the core and around the femur and the back of the thigh in order to stabilize yourself. So make sure you're working efficiently. So I go, then I can lift the foot after I get the heel down. That way I have some stability. If you try to do it too early, you're going to be wobbling around. Now go from there, back and forth, keep it slow and steady, just like a timer. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have a metronome or a drum machine, like an electronic drum machine, you can hook up to an amp. That helps just to give you a nice tempo to match. But ultimately, we'll have to have internal metronomes, so try working with both of those concepts. Now, we're going to go from there to doing a planta with 7 heels for a total of 8 counts. If you recall, the planta, remember, is like flexing the foot up and bringing your metatarsal down to the floor. So now I want you to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then the other side, keeping the weight on the insides of the feet and the spine long, and the focus up. You can see from the side. All Shoulders back, shoulder blades down, long spine, focus up, long neck, but relaxed. So make sure we're not looking up or letting the head forward. Just a nice little tilt here so that your eye is level, parallel with the floor. So that's it. If you work on that, then you can take up the speed, but don't take up the speed until you have control. So if I can do this well and steady, then I can start to think about taking the tempo up. Now your tendency is going to be to race because you just want to get it over with because you're going to start getting sore, especially in the calves on one side or the other, depending on how long you are. Now my suggestion is work in increments of 8. Start out in 4s, go to 8s, see if you can do 16 on each side. In other words, a planta and 15 heels and a planta and 15 heels. And then go, I've gone all the way up to 64 or sometimes more, doubling that. It's up to you, but work at a real steady pace. And what's most important is not only balance, but strengthen the heel. Don't go any further in tempo, or don't add more heels if you don't have a strong heel, that 4 count. If you work on that, you'll have good strong heels, and then you'll have a lot more potential to do more exciting things with your feet from there. So in the next video, we're going to work on upper body.